You are listening to Lovesick, the podcast, where we dive into health, wellness, and relationships and their impact on the world. Come be a part of the discussion and join our community by following us on YouTube, Instagram, and listening wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Enjoy the show.
Hello there, and welcome back to Official Lovesick Podcast. I'm your host, Dorothea McGuire, and to the left side of me,
Jada Ford.
and my right side,
Michael Fishman.
Welcome. And we have a phenomenal guest today talking to us in regards to being a caregiver for Alzheimer's. We have Miss Charnele Brown, as we know, an American actress, producer, writer, fashion designer, and singer. She's best known for her role Kimberly Reese on the NBC acclaimed show, A Different World. And after that show ended, she was a guest star on other sitcoms, Living Single, Martin, Girlfriends. And lastly, she's also the owner of Tri-Wen Productions. Welcome, Charnele! Welcome. We thank you so much.
I love your set. Your set is great.
Oh, wow. Thank you. We love it too.
Yeah.
I wish you were on the sofa.
I
We just
know.
missed each other, but that's fine. But anyway, Charnele, I know that the subject that we're talking about today will help so many people. And we know that you've had a journey with dealing with Alzheimer's disease with your mom and being a caretaker. So if you don't mind, if you want to start out of how this began and whatever way that, you would like to start to let people know about this disease.
Okay, first of all, thanks so much, Dorothea. Actually, disease it's no joke. It's an incredible, intimidating disease. I started with my mom. I have to start from the beginning. After A Different World and all that good stuff, she started getting symptoms and stuff like that. And I realized at that time that my career had to take a back seat. My mom was the priority. And so a lot of people think I'm going to clear it up now, guys. It's not like I was booted out of Hollywood or all of these crap, but I chose to take a step back because, my mom was very important to me, very important to me. I think this fell. Let's settle for a minute. And so I took a break and I had my mommy. And when I was talking to Dorothea, I have to stress about caretakers. Number one, you have to take care of yourself first. What I realized that when I was taking care of my mom, my focus was on her, and as you guys, as you know, as an actor, we're so ego driven. And so we have the blinders on. And so that was my thing with my mom. It was like the blinders. It was like make sure she was comfortable, making sure that, she knew who I was, all of this stuff. And I used to get up like 5:30 in the morning, like clockwork, like over and over again, and she lasted for a little bit. But what I realized that when she did pass away, she passed away 2 years ago, that I looked in the mirror, after she passed, and I don't know why I didn't look in the mirror all those other years, but I looked in the mirror and said, "Oh my God, who is this woman?" I didn't know her. I had gained weight. It was just awful. And I realized that, my God, and I use this analogy all the time. It's like the elephant, and you have a chained elephant to a pole. And, if that elephant stays long enough and then you decide to take the chain away, the elephant stays because that's all the elephant knows. And so right now I'm in the process of really getting back me because I lost me all those years. I don't regret it. But I'm telling people, just take care of yourself first. But it was my love for my mommy that I had to do what I had to do, and it was not a question about it. But I just stressed caretakers, take care of yourself first. They're not going anywhere. See, I'm thinking my mom, she's gonna go. She's gonna.
Right.
So I panicked. I panicked. And I was like, I gotta make sure that everything's right every day. to the point where I got lost. And you can't take care of people if you're lost. You
That's
really have to make sure that you're okay, even if it's a walk in the park. Just to get away from the environment for a minute. If you have a friend or someone, will just sit with them for an hour a day, just to get out of that environment. I didn't do that. I didn't have that. I don't want anyone to take care of my mom but me.
Well,
It's selfish.
no,
But
you
Not selfish.
think you're trying to be the best caregiver, the best child, the best loving person in someone's life.
Yeah,
And you forget sometimes you got to be loving you at the same time, and that also that other people
exactly.
can help, right?
And so I can't stress that enough.
So I know I wanted to ask you about symptoms because I know
Mhm.
a lot of people would like to know what type of symptoms that your mom was having.
Actually, just not remembering. I used to watch her, and because with Alzheimer's, your motor skills start going, so you don't remember things.
Mm.
And so the first thing was just memorization, and then I realized I said, she's going to lose her memory, so I have to make her familiar to me. So instead of my name, I used to tell her, listen, you probably won't remember me, but just remember this kind woman that loves you, and she would just laugh. She would just laugh. And the thing is, and each time I would see her, she would light up. So I knew she knew me, but she did not know my name, but she knew I was really familiar with her. And so, and I tell people too, once again with Alzheimer's, if surround them, see them often, because they won't know you. They won't. It's just that brain. I don't know what it is. I can't explain it. But she just could not remember. And she got really frustrated. To the point where, and so I had to calm her down. It's okay. You're safe.
Right.
I got you. I got you, Mom. Because I called her Duchess. I got you, Duchess. Don't worry. I'm not going to leave you. I'm here.
Yeah.
So every morning it was routine. People realize, make a routine. Don't change it. Because it becomes habit like a child.
Okay.
It's a habit. I used to get up at 5:30 in the morning, got her up at 6, got her up to watch her up. And so it was a routine. So she got used to the routine. She didn't know why, but she got used to it because I drilled it. I drilled it. And so that made me less frustrated because I knew she expected these certain things to happen in the morning. And so that gave her a sense of being in charge. The mommy's all, in charge. So
Yeah.
give her that. But that's the memory was the first. And after the memory, it was a process of shutting down where she didn't remember, where to go to the bathroom or how to go, or her food intake. She did not the swallowing, the motor skill. She didn't know how to swallow anymore, and so I had to feed her like applesauce, so it can at least go down and get nutrients. So it's a really daunting process. It's a daunting process. And, the main thing is with caretakers, it's transference of emotion. What about me? I'm this. And that's fine. But still, the main focus is your mother, your father, or anything. And you have to keep that focus going. Once again, take those breaks. I didn't take the breaks. So take the breaks, come back, and do it again. And when I knew that she couldn't swallow, God pretty much told me that she didn't want to be.
Yeah.
I knew then that I didn't have her long after she stopped eating, and she went peacefully. Yeah.
Yeah. So how did that affect you, Charnele, mentally? Because I know that had to take a toll on you with everything else in your life that you were doing at the time.
Mhm. With that, with family, and I think you guys can all relate. You just do.
Yeah.
There was no time to ponder, or to process.
Yeah.
I didn't, you don't have that luxury, and so that's why you have to be prepped, But when she passed away, oddly enough, and she kind of like passed on her blessings to me. I felt it. I really felt it, that she was like, okay, now you're free. and you can
Oh,
do what your purpose is.
right.
Yeah.
Because she used to always say, I'm disrupting you. I'm like, you're not disrupting me. I was like, you're the best things that ever happened to me.
Right.
And so all that other stuff didn't matter to me. It didn't. And it gave me a different perspective on the business as well. That it's not that deep. It's the art. And we get so, messed up in, all the personal stuff and all these cooks and stuff like that. But we forgot about the art of it. And so I knew that once my mom did go to heaven, I can go back and get back to my art.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's this interesting part of the grieving process is so different for everybody. I always tell people it comes in waves.
Yes.
I have my
Mhm.
own kind of view on it because I think it's a gift in a very strange way. I think it's a gift of how much love you shared. But I also think that there's
Mhm.
this interesting thing that swarms you afterwards as you start thinking about all the things that you need to do or that you let go or that you did these things. And then,
Yeah.
you have this beautiful
Yeah.
mindset about this, which is you knew you were spending your time in the right place. And now
Mhm.
you're ready to go back and to commit to the parts of your life that you want.
Exactly. But it was hard doing it. Like I said, I'm that elephant. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
been 2 years now, and I'm just getting, my group back.
Right.
I'm just getting it back. And that's
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
guess there's no timeline on things like that when it happens because everybody's different. So some people take longer
Yeah.
than that,
Everybody's different.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
did you have a lot of resources
Yeah.
and stuff that you accessed to learn more about?
I did. I did. Yeah. I was like a bully because right now and within the system, you know what I mean? They're just not capable. They have people. I think after the pandemic, the people that were really good at what they did decided to stay home,
Yeah, that's true.
and so now we have an influx of people that really don't know what they're doing. I'm going to be very honest.
Right.
And so I was man, I was on the phone with resources. I went through like 16 caretakers.
How many? Did you say 16 or 6?
16.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
16.
Wow.
Wow.
Mhm. Because if I felt if my mom was not comfortable and I know her signs,
Right.
they were gone the next day.
Yeah. I don't
Mhm.
blame
And
you.
that's the stuff we've talked about before too, just being
Mhm.
like your own advocate first of all, and then you are looking out for the best interests of
Mhm.
your mother. And we even say that just for about ourselves when we know that if there's something
Right.
that we need to get checked out and looked at, it's like we know what we
Mhm.
need, and we need the right
Right.
professionals to help.
Mhm.
And sometimes, like, I know Michael said this, I'll call him out, but he's like, some of these, white coats, they have C's. They've gotten
That's my
Cs.
thing is
And
somebody
so-
graduated medical school with
I know,
C's,
I
right?
know.
Like it's not personal. Like I know you didn't all ace everything, right? Like,
That was funny.
well, I'm curious. What are the things you wish you knew?
Oh.
Like for somebody who's starting this process, like if you could give them kind of the cheat
Mhm.
sheet, the
Mhm.
ramp them up and give them the gift of your knowledge of your experience, right? What are some of those
Mhm.
things that you wish people knew or that you wish somebody had been able to tell you or share with you?
I was, I don't know. I think because of my foundation, I just, in our culture, we take care of our family.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a given that we just. I mean, I look at it this way. I mean, you put up with me forever. I'm going to put up with you forever. You know what I mean? And so I think if that's, I think it's a sacrifice. I mean, and I think it starts from home because my mom and dad were great nurturers, incredible people, and so with that, you just do. You just do. Now, in other instances, I have to say, if your parents are not that great, and you've gone through some stuff, but you still have to bite that
Yep.
bullet
Right.
because it
Yep.
says in the Bible, honor your mother and father,
Right.
regardless. Take care of them, and you'll have a long life. So, any way you look at it, they birthed you,
Yeah.
and usually the saying is chickens always come home to roost, and it's always the person that the parents abused or the mother or father. That's the one that has to take care of them.
Yeah.
So I really believe that God is giving is like a full circle,
Mhm.
and that all the forgivenesses are there,
Right.
your understanding and all of that good stuff, And with my mom, I enjoyed her because growing up, she was my mom, and so it was like, okay, you're my mom. So I can't, but this time, I'd have to tell caretakers it's reversed, where I become the parent and she's the child.
Right.
And so that adjustment, because you can't come at her or your parent like a child,
Right.
because they'll get confused. Because I remember one time my mom said out of nowhere, "You're my mommy now."
Oh.
And I said, "I am." I said, "I am your mommy." And when I said, "Now I'm going to torture you like you tortured me." You started laughing.
Hey, back in the
And
most
so
beautiful way, right?
I'm the mother now. I'm the mommy now. Now what's you to do? And one time she goes, "You're the mommy. I love you." I said, "I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I said, you're trying to manipulate me. I don't want to hear it." So
You're grounded. Just
with her. So I said, yeah, just to have fun. And I allowed her to be the kid that, because we go back to childhood, and so I allowed that. So with me, I tell you, I can't say what I could have done. I think the only thing was just taking care of myself.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Just making sure that my foundation was strong. So whatever came, I could deal with quickly. And I did that. And I think too is I have to say prayer. God was sick of me, and I'm sure he still is. But I would get up and pray and
Right.
And say that let her be comfortable, because I knew it was inevitable. And I said, if the healing process is there, thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
If you are to heal her, thank you. If not, thank you.
Right.
I know where she's going. She was 85 years old. She had a wonderful life. And that's how I processed it, and not going off the deep end.
Yeah.
It's really God, to be honest.
I thought
it's just, and if you don't believe in God, some higher being, just to help you.
Right.
To help you, to let you know that you're not alone.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And what I was thinking, because we talked about the end life part, can you tell us about what type of mom she was and what you guys used to do prior to all this happening?
Oh my God. My mom was my mom was a minister.
Oh.
I have 13 aunts and uncles, and 11 of them are ministers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm a PK. Hard to believe. I'm a PK kid.
Okay.
And my mom, actually, being in with that role, it was very intimidating for people. So no one really wanted to come over, because they were like, "My God, they're going to be judged." That whole thing. But my mom was so much fun. She had a sense of humor. We laughed. I mean, she used to, look at me and go, "My God, what did God create?" Because I was a handful with my sister. My sister was very conservative. I was the wild child.
Right.
And so they had their hands full.
Yeah.
And not bad stuff. I was just curious. And so my mom and my dad nurtured it. I have to tell the story so why I've been with my mom and my dad are so great.
Okay.
Like I said, in second grade, I mean, I knew that I wanted to be in the industry. And so I found out because we used to go to the pond every Friday. I don't know why, to see ducks in second grade. And I was watching Lassie. I don't know if you remember Lassie. It's an old show with a dog, a collie dog. And I'm showing my age. And I used to watch Lassie. And, at the end, usually Lassie comes back. This time Lassie didn't come back because they had a two-parter. I didn't know anything about part two. I'm crying. I'm like, "Lassie's dead. She's dead." And I'm crying. And I realized, Michael, so you can understand this. I realized, I can make myself cry if I think about something bad.
Wow.
I said, You know what I mean? So I didn't know that was Stanislavski method back then. Didn't know what that was. I just knew that I can manipulate people by my my actions. I was like, "Oh shoot!" And so what I did, I went back on Friday on the pond, and I'm thinking about Lassie, and I'm starting crying and crying and crying. And Miss White, my teacher's like, "What's the matter?" I didn't think it through, because Michael, we don't know.
Right.
You have to think it through. You have to through line. What is your objective? I said, "My brother." He said, "What happened to your brother?" I said, "He died in the pond." Mind you, I have no brothers. I have no sister.
You had the gift already.
I had the gift
Yes,
already.
you had
And
the
so, of
acting
course,
gift
I had,
already.
I got the spanking of my life. But when my mom and dad did, they recognized something in me, and they put me in classes.
Oh.
So I've been in acting classes since I was in second grade. And they were like, listen, either she's going to be a pathological liar or she's going to be an actor.
Well, you did quite well. You picked the right choice. They're like, we're gonna angle this in the right. We're gonna put this in a holy direction, and we're gonna.
Yes, they were like, we're very afraid of this one. But she came out real weird, and so they nurtured me, and they put me everywhere. My mom and dad. I had an itinerary growing up. I went to sewing classes. Blah, blah, blah. I was everywhere and I sat down. I was like, I'm tired, Mom and Dad. They were like, we want to get you prepared to see what you like and what you dislike because you're going to be doing whatever you're doing for the rest of your life.
Right. Yep.
So you really have to enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they put me everywhere to see where I was most happy. And it was in entertainment. And that's why my parents are so special to me because they listened to me.
Yeah. And that's great because
they listened.
Yeah, because sometimes you have parents that don't do that, or they force the kids to do what they want them to do and not what you actually really want to do. So
exactly.
Kudos to them because they did a fabulous job with you because you're fabulous.
And then you were gracing our television shows with such amazing shows and iconic television. And so, I just, whew.
Yeah. I mean, I loved you on A Different World. I loved you on that show. And, it's just to look at you now and to see how everything that you've gone through, but you rising back to the top, and it's great,
Yeah.
And look,
it's great. And the journey is wonderful. I love the journey. And Michael, you can agree with me. The hunt is the best as an actor. The hunt.
Yeah.
The hunt for a
if
job.
You're hungry and you want it.
We're like, oh God. It's like now we got to deal with politics. But it's just wonderful to go after it. I love that.
Yeah.
As an actor, to go in, and go in and conquer. And after A Different World, once I got it, I was like, this is it? It turned into politics.
The politics show up.
90% business and 10% show. We only had 10% of the time to have fun.
Yeah.
The other 90% is politicking. It's all politics. Yeah.
Well, I always joke because I always say I'm the one performer who hates applause. Because it means that we're done, right? Like I don't want to be done. I want to keep working. I want I like the show part of.
You want to keep going?
I'm like I don't want to be done. I want to keep what are we doing next? What's the next thing?
I love it. And you know something too, Michael, what I loved about your character too, it's very seldom that you have a young child star as the sounding board. I was a sounding board for A Different World because without Jasmine needed a sounding board.
That's
you need that straight man. And it's amazing how they did that for you.
And he was such a young age.
And I
you know
love
what
it.
I mean?
Because
without you being there, they could not sound off.
Right.
And their jokes could not land without you being there at that board.
Yep.
And as a kid, that's rare.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it.
Kids steal the show.
I love it because normally the kid is the butt of some crazy joke or you're some clown, right? And to be the straight person, to know that you're gonna be the butt of jokes or that you're gonna be the sounding board and that you have to be the support structure. You have to understand. You got to play with a different level of intelligence. I think people don't understand what that's like. You and I get that because our characters kind of shared that.
We get it.
It's beautiful.
Yep. Yeah.
I love it.
So it's amazing. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, what's the dream? What's next for you? Because you're transitioning back, right? What is the dream?
I am. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I mean, this sounds like a weird. I talked to Dorothea about it. I don't know. Yeah. I'm going where God has me to go. This time around, I mean, the thing is this: we all have a purpose in life.
Yeah.
He gives us his purpose, and then he gives us a gift of talent to have fun with it.
Yep.
So true. I don't know where I'm going. I know I'm going.
Yeah.
But I don't know where yet. And I'm excited and nervous at the same time because my drive is different now.
Yeah.
And like back in the day, I'm not driving to become an actor. I'm not driving for you to accept me. I'm here already.
Yeah. Right.
My acceptance is done. And so now it's time for me to go in and see what what God wants me to do so I can pass on a message.
Right.
Because that's what we're here for. We have a purpose.
Can you tell everybody about Tri-Wen Productions so people will know, and then also how to contact you with Tri-Wen?
Yeah. Tri-Wen Productions is myself and my business partner, Andre Petrie. We decided Tri-Wen, try and you win. When you try, you always win.
Good. Yeah, I love it.
You always win. Mm-hmm. But you got to keep trying. You can't stop. You can't stop. Really quality of shows, bringing back family.
Yeah.
Bringing back that dynamic. And bringing back simple stuff like empathy. Bringing back people that care. It's like everybody wants to be the bad guy now. Right. Everybody wants to do evil. Everybody wants to be backbiting and not. And I said, you know something? We got to bring back. There's a host of people out there that want to see things that are wonderful because I want to be entertained. Life is hard enough. I don't want to get on TV and then people are slicing each other up and that's good for it. But we need there's a pocket that's missing. And I really believe that we're going back to it. We're going back to, because even with Roseanne, even though it was zany, but there was a love. Mm-hmm. There was a love in that house.
Yeah.
Regardless of how it was delivered.
Right.
But when I left watching each one of those episodes, I felt that this family loved each other regardless. They met each other where they were. And that's what we need to get back. And I think that's why they're trying to bring back all these shows. Because Frasier's back. Yep. All these shows are coming back that are human and makes you think and have that empathy for people and caring for people. We lost that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
And that's not our purpose on earth.
Yeah.
That's not our purpose on earth, not to care.
No, I agree. I think that's one of those
things. So that's what
Yeah, for me, it's the kind of projects I'm trying to build too, because it's about community and inclusion. I want to see things that are like the world we live in. And I think it's really interesting. We did this thing for a while where everybody was excited about the anti-hero. But if you know the anti-hero, that's a jerk in your life. That's not a good person. Nobody wants to be that person. And nobody wants to be friends with that person or have that person in their family. You can't build a life that way, right?
Yep.
All of those quote-unquote anti-heroes are miserable people. Yep. And I think for a while, we started falling into this thing of like being angry at the world. But the truth is, life is about loving each other. And Lovesick, I mean, the genesis of this coming from Jada and Dorothea is like understanding that you're going to face challenges.
Right.
You're going to face disease, illness, mismatches in what's going on. You're going to have things you have to conquer and tackle and face. And in all of that, finding the love in it, finding the connection with the people, because that's what family really is about is nobody's family runs smoothly. Right. We're all going to be faced with something.
Exactly.
And so how do you find the love in it? And how do you celebrate each other? And how do you give each other the resources and the support structure?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I come from the reality TV side of everything. And, my biggest thing was I stopped working on projects that weren't promoting good things and positive things because I felt like after a while we could see all the fighting and all the, angry towards each other and, breaking up fights and all that stuff. But it started to become something that was just like, everybody's not about this. And yes, it's entertaining, but then think of how much of yourself you have given up for to be angry all the time. And that's why these like positive messages are always helpful in our world.
That's true.
There we go.
That is so
got you back. Okay.
And Charnele,
I lost you for a minute.
I had another thing that I would love for you to talk about too before we go off the air is about Black Man, the play, because we were not able to see it. Yeah. If you could tell everybody about the mission for that play, which I think is absolutely wonderful. And you just left Inglewood at the theater.
Yes.
So I'm
the
sorry
Miracle
that we
Theater.
Yeah, so sorry we couldn't be able, to attend. But why don't we talk about that a little bit? Because that's really serious.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like I said, my business partner, Andre Petrie, he woke up one morning and created this incredible piece dealing with mental health and PTSD with our Black men.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, there's no platforms really for a lot for men, period. As women, we have everything.
Mm-hmm.
We have resources. We got the Me Too. We have everything. And the men right now, they don't have too much of anything. And so this is the play is about 7 different characters, and I play a therapist. And these men come, and we understand why Black men do what they do, because it stems from systemic racism, first of all, and after that, it stems from family. Because I always ask the women in the audience, we complain about these Black men, but where do they come from?
Yeah.
And they think, I'm like, they come from us.
Yeah.
So we have to take accountability as well about it. So it's a discovery of the men needing help, and it's okay to go to a therapist. It's okay to get help. It's okay, but I know a lot of, men fear, and we had these discussions, with a couple of men, that they fear that if they allow their guard to come down, they're vulnerable. And then they feel that person's going to go and tell someone else. Like, because we have these women today that are, I call them they're quick. They want everything now, everything now, everything now, and that entitlement of, and I have to say it with Black women, I don't know where we get that entitlement from, that this Black man owes you, or, you have to, if we go on a date, you have to pay me to go on a date. That's prostitution. That's not going. I mean, it's escort type stuff.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That you have to give me this. And if you're with me, you have to take care of me totally. I think that we've gotten misconstrued about what partnership is with a man and a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really it's just off. It's off. The scales are off. Where that entitlement is crazy. So now we're going at each other's throats for no reason. None.
Yeah.
And so we have to have dialogue and realize that we all need each other and lift each other up, because you don't know where they came from. That has been my lesson for this play. That don't ever judge a book by its cover. You don't know from whence they came. You don't know the environment they were in order for them to be who they are.
That's true.
And so the bottom line is, what I got out of it is love.
Yeah.
Check up on each other. Do that wellness check.
Right.
Hey, are you okay? How you doing? We need that in all aspects of our lives. And with our Black women and Black men, we got to get back on track. And this project that Andre really had it on his heart to do it, because once again, they're not heard by Black women.
Right.
They're not heard, and it's misconstrued. So hopefully, our whole objective with the play is to at least touch one person.
And that's all you need
or
to
make
do.
you think.
Yeah. And
That's all you need.
That's all you need. And here's what I want to say as well. I'm so glad that you and Andre had a chance to collaborate to help educate about what, guys are going through. What is
Yes.
what would you like to tell people before we close everything out, and then let people know how they can contact you?
Okay. Bottom line, I mean, first of all, thank you very much for having me. This was really wonderful.
Thank
you.
The bottom line
Thank
is,
you,
and I love what
yes.
you guys all said, love. Let's get back to love.
Right.
Let's get back to respecting one another. Let's get back to respecting people where they are and not trying to change them. They're who they are because of their raising, their upraising. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
just love people. Love, don't judge. We have a lot of judging out there on this internet.
Yeah.
Everybody's judging everybody. Everybody's becoming, these incredible specialists about relationships and all this stuff. Guys, the internet, take it for what it's worth. It's not all true.
You're right.
It's not all true.
Right.
It's not. Actually, 95% is not true.
Yeah,
right.
I
Agreed.
think it's hard.
I
I mean,
agree.
I think the play is brilliant from the standpoint,
Yes.
especially is men don't express themselves. But
They
I
don't.
have been blessed to be surrounded by amazing Black men who have
That's
amazing
wonderful.
character, and including my business partner. And one of the things that has been impressed upon me is the expectation for them, I think, is so much higher and harder than a lot of other groups in our society.
I agree.
There is no allowance for them to be soft, and yet at the same time, they're expected to somehow be nurturing and kind, and yet show no weakness.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to. They're not allowed to be too strong because other people get afraid.
Right.
They're not allowed to voice their opinion all the time because their opinion is somewhat wanted, but at the same time muted. And it makes other people uncomfortable because it is not what has been the dominant culture. And it pervades a lot of the stuff that we write for that reason. But I think it's a really important point. And I think if there's a group in society that is being underrepresented at the current time and underheard, I definitely think it's the group that would be Black men, because I feel like they are not being allowed to express either their vulnerability or their frustration without it being deemed either anger or being anti someone else. It's like, no, their voices need to be heard. And it's a really, it's a big topic for us. And I think it comes back to what you said, is it's about love. Do we love them enough to hear their pain?
Ooh.
And can we make space?
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's so good.
And it's true for so many, but I think that group in particular, we've asked them to be, it's so interesting. We ask young Black males, you know, as the father of one who lost one, he was asked to be tough and to be street and to be streetwise, and yet still somehow be intelligent and communicate in a way that other people found palatable. He was accepted in some groups and universally disregarded in others. He was, at times, he was a statistic for people, right? Before they ever even met him or heard him. And so, like, it is a mission for me. And so I share that mission. And for Andre, like, if there's ways I can help, because, you know, I think of Larry so often, and I think of the way people dismissed him. And I think of the way that people didn't want to hear him. And I look at my business partner, Michael, and he's one of the smartest people I've ever met. He has some of the most incredible integrity. And yet, here's a guy who's super educated, former lawyer, can talk about any subject and is as bright as anyone. And yet we go certain places and no one wants to hear, or they make their own prejudice. He's a big, strong guy, so his presence makes other people uncomfortable sometimes. And it's like, and at times, this is something that people who look like me don't want to hear. There's a privilege. Sometimes I can say things almost without even thinking twice about it, where my business partner says half of that and he's immediately deemed as aggressive or angry or something else. And that's a problem universally that, you know, the Black community has faced for a long time, but Black men right now, it's almost like we've used that to silence them, and that silence is causing mental health issues, and we're not giving them the support they need.
Exactly.
And that's why you guys
carry on their shoulders.
And that's why you and Andre directed and produced this play, because of that, right?
Yes.
What Michael just said.
Because of that right there.
Yeah.
What he just said.
That's right.
Well said.
That's right.
Yep.
How can people get in touch with you? Beautiful.
You know, I mean, because Dorothea, because, you know, we work together. She knows I'm computer illiterate. So she's real patient with me. But also, it's actually, you know, something, it sounds really weird, but the best thing to do is to Google me.
Right. There you go.
Because everything is there. Everything is there for you.
There it is. That's the best answer of all. I need to start saying that.
And there's lots of talent out there for them to find, right? So look you up and support you actively, because you got a voice and things to share.
That's right.
Yes, exactly.
That's right. Well, Charnele, we are so happy that you joined us today on the official LOVESICK podcast. And we want you to have a very happy birthday celebration.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
Dorothea, I have to say thank you very much. I mean, the first time we met, I just knew, you know, what a kindred spirit and a great heart. And you know what I love about you too? You're a darn good hustler. And that's what we need in this industry.
Yes, she is.
And I thank you so much for that. You better believe it. That's a barracuda.
Thank you, Charnele.
We
really
appreciate you
that.
and appreciate your time. And
we
thank
love
you for sharing your story with us.
Love you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
you and I will talk soon.
Love ya.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
we'll talk soon. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
We thank everybody for being part of this ride and for sharing her journey and kind of the overall journey. And we want to keep that conversation going. So please feel free to share with us and look forward to sharing with you on the next Lovesick podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for joining us.